This is a brief video on how to create a cabinet in SAFE. You have to have system administrator rights, so go into CNG Management, click on Username as a shortcut to automatically type in administrator. Then if you have your system administrator password, enter it here. This will give you access to make changes, create, edit, etc. on all of the systems in Cabinet. Now I'm going to go to Cabinets and I'm going to add a cabinet, so I click the Add button. The next pop-up that you see is a list of standard cabinet templates that we deliver with the system. For this training exercise, we're going to create a cabinet from scratch, so I'm going to select Cancel. And the first thing you do is name your cabinet. Let's create a personnel cabinet like we might create for a human resources department, and I'm going to assign it to a repository. It could be whatever repositories you have. And I'm going to make the owner of this cabinet one of my users, so that person can make changes down the road. Now I'm also going to check the document versioning box here so that any document that's edited in this cabinet in the future will have versions kept. I also want to enable indexing in this case so that I can do full text searches, so I check the enable indexing box and I click the next button. Step 2 in this wizard is to add some folder indexes. So I'm going to add last name and first name, and let's add a pick list for status. So I'm going to make a folder index called status, and I'm going to do pick from list and create a pick list. So let's make it active and add that to your list, and inactive and add that to your list. You could have as many items as you want in this pick list. We'll just keep it short here and click OK and save. And that's a very simple list of folder indexes. By default, an ID is inserted. I created last name, first name, and status. Before I click next to the next step, I need to do some settings on these indexes. I need to decide what my unique value is. I'm going to make it the ID. I need to decide what my default index is, and that's the index that's going to show up in the left-hand column of SAFE. Let's use last name as default, and let's make first name reference. It'll show up next to the default column in SAFE. Now let's go ahead and click next, and I can create some tabs. So I might have a tab for application and save. I could have a tab for reviews. I could have a tab for benefits. You can see as we type and add these tabs, this dialog stays open, and you can have as many or as few tabs as you want. You also might notice there's some tabs that show up in the system here. These are tabs that are already created in the system, so if it's something that exists elsewhere, it'll save you some keystrokes. Or you can just type in those tabs and add them here. Once you're done, you click Cancel. And now if you click the next button, that cabinet has been created. Very simple, with just a few indexes and a few tabs, and I'm finished creating that cabinet once I hit the Finish button. Don't forget to hit the Finish button. Now, the only other thing to remember is that I've created a cabinet, but no one in my system has rights to that cabinet. So the very last step is to go into Rights, and we want to go pick that repository and pick that cabinet that we just created, and we want to add users, whoever is supposed to have rights. In this case, let's add John and KG and JT, and let's give them full rights. We'll give them lock rights to non-sensitive. We'll let them export and transfer folder indexes, and we'll give that person or those 3 users lock rights to non-sensitive, and finished. So don't forget to go into rights and assign rights. We'll do another video on more detail on rights. But that's all it takes to create a cabinet.